It's Thursday, December 4th, 2014, and welcome to World of Tanks Replays number 7. I'm very excited about today. Today we are looking at the Type 59, everyone's favorite Tier 8 medium tank out of the Chinese tree. So today I've gone a little bit different from what I normally do. Mainly because most of the Type 59 games out there are phenomenal. There's not really a lot there. So I wanted to go more of an interesting route rather than our standard average game, good game, better game. So game number 1 is it's a fairly standard game. It's kind of boring except for there's one part in it, which is amazing. So keep an eye out, see if you can catch it. Game number 2, phenomenal gameplay, really smart hill play out of the Type 59, which is good because you don't always see a lot of gun depression play out of the Chinese medium tanks. And game 3 is just a phenomenal show of both luck and skill. And we'll see that come out. All right, I'm just gonna get right into it because I think that what most of you guys probably want to see is the gameplay and not me talking about the tank. So this will be more interesting. This is more of a fun, I think premiums I'm going to try to go more of a fun route because there's not a lot of options there and they're easy to get. So, well, except for the Type 59. What are you going to do? Guess you got to be good or Silver League or think you can win it in a couple other contests that happen every once in a while. But for the most part, it's unavailable to the majority of us plebeians, myself included. So we're going to hop over and look at game number 1. Alright, let me find my mouse. We'll go back to battle here. And we'll get this started. Let me make sure it's sped up here, and we'll go. So this first game is brought to us by Prinyo. Again, all of these were pulled off of World of Tanks or WoTreplays.com, I think. I think it was WoTreplays.com. And this was actually quite easy. I basically just logged on this morning, and it was like out of the first 5 replays, I found the 3 that I wanted to go with. So here we see Prinyo using the speed of the Type 59 to push ahead and take, what he's going to end up doing is taking the hill off to the left, which is a really smart play for a medium tank. He's going to take a shot, pause, see if he can shoot the 1375. I don't think that was a smart play at all, though. You really need to get around, and that was lucky. Extremely lucky. He could have very easily lost most of his hit points from that 152 shell. But he got lucky and it was only a tracking shot. So he's going to climb. Looks like the friendly 1375 is getting wrecked by the enemy 1375 and a T-43. It's evened up. Not going to get a shot off before the 1375 gets the kill. 1375 goes down to the T-43 who takes a hit from the IS-3. So, finishes off his first kill with 22 damage. So 22 damage in the bank. Now, I'm going to tell you guys right now, this battle is a first class mastery badge. Or a first class badge. Right now he's at 1 kill with 22 damage. Alright. Oh, and he got the T-34 at the end, 17. So he's up to 39 damage with 2 kills. It's not looking great so far. Here we go. Maybe he can do some damage here. Got a Borsig. Got the SU-152, which is kind of scary to see. Oh, takes a shot on the back up and just doesn't manage to get it. Can he get the kill on the SU-152 for 97 damage? Nope. Somebody else takes it before he does. So now what he can see, he knows there's a Borsig over there. Got a KV-4 that's going to be really hard to get through, but he manages to get through the side of the turret, and that was a weird bug from the replay system. Always good to see. Meanwhile, he's got a Super Pershing, KV-4, and an E-75. If you'll notice, on the north side of the map has been almost all tank destroyers, and they're actually managing to do what appears to be a decent hold. A lot of the tanks are at the south. Down goes the Super Pershing. There's only a KV-4, an E-75, a Borsig. Maybe 2 Borsigs, actually. See if you can see a shot there. Oh, poking out from the hill. Takes a shot, puts it through that lower glacis. Nice hit. He's still at full health, which is really nice. Means that he's got some hit points to sacrifice if he needs to. Oh no, he takes a hit from the KV-4 from somewhere. Must be off to the left. That damaged gun isn't going to be good. Gonna be hard pressed to try and get his shots off. Can't tell. It looks like he missed the Borsig. Might have tracked it, but he rolled behind. And so he got some tracking damage, but no actual damage. Meanwhile, there's still a full health E-75 sitting over here, trying his best. KV-4 is going to take a shot, puts it into the ground. Alright, let's see if you can hit the KV-4 here. Nope, bounces off that formidable KV-4 armor. In the meantime, our northern squad of all tank destroyers has pushed up and has now managed to take out a T-29 and an Undine and a couple of other things. So the north is pushing pretty well. He's still only at 818 damage. This doesn't look like a first class mastery badge at all. Let's see if he can get some more damage on this Borsig. There's a shot. I can't tell if that went in, but I'm pretty sure it did. I mean, that would be amazing if it didn't. Yep, that one definitely went in, 114. So he's got another 240 or 50. So he's at about 1,000, a little over 1,000. So he can get the kill here. Takes a shot with a damaged gun. He's probably zoomed in more than that, but it is not looking good for the enemy team. They're losing badly, 13-4. Let's see if he can get the finishing kill on the Borsig. And there it is, in the darkness. All that's left is an E-75 with 2 kills. And he's got about... So let's see if he can't do something about this E-75. Gonna take a shot at the front. Not gonna go through, he's gonna take some damage. He's gonna take a shot, looks like both his tracks are damaged. Second shot, right into the ammo rack. Ammo rack is damaged. See if he's gonna get another shot off. Boom! Ammo rack, 1607. That is a way to get a first class medal right there. So I love that game just because it's the ammo rack to finish it off. It's phenomenal. It's a really, really boring game, which is kind of how most games go. And the ammo rack. And I really like how he had, I think it's Deadeye, which shows what's damaged. And the fact that he put the gun up, pulled the trigger into the side of the turret, and saw the ammo rack come up, I think he was probably really excited about that. Or maybe he wasn't thinking. But the fact that he managed to ammo rack the E-75, boom, 1,607 damage in one shell. Beautiful. Now you know what would have topped that off? The turret had landed on him and killed him before the game ended. And a perfect ending. But that's okay. And he managed to do it without taking any health. Only takes module damage. So, well done to our first battle. Nice and short. Kind of a palate cleanser. It was only about 5.5 minutes long. But nice, easy game to watch. And the ammo rack. Gah. It's almost like when you see, usually like artillery or the Death Star, the British 183. That's about it. I think that really does enough damage to one-shot a lot of tanks outside of an ammo rack. All right, cool. Game 1 in the bag. Let me pull up game number 2. Game number 2 is according to the replay on Westfield, but I don't believe that's the actual... name of the map. Not sure. Unfortunately, the replay mechanic seems to not have the old names, not the new names, or maybe they're the names that are translated from Russian that aren't the names, but oh, it is Westfield. Okay, that's good to know. I actually haven't played this map in a long time. It's not one that comes up in the rotation very often, which is unfortunate because I like this one. So why don't we hop over, we'll watch the load-in, I'll speed through it, and we can get underway for game number 2. Remember, this is the one with a really good hill play. Check it out. So we're going to speed through this first intro bit. Let's go. Down to 1 speed. So we've got a fairly... Since I've actually got XVM, I can see stats. So this guy managed to land himself a Type 59. I'm not exactly sure how, but he's got one. So congratulations to him. So he's going to move up here into this hill area, which normally wouldn't be great for a tank like the Type 59. And the reason for that is that the gun depression isn't stellar. But instead he's going to use the slope of the hill to actually get shots as these tank destroyers are moving up into that crevice. And it's going to pay really well for him. So he's going to put some shells into the Jagdpanther, dodge a couple, doing really good. Because the alpha damage on the Type 59 gun is only about 250 damage, you don't really get the same kind of absolute domination you get out of other tanks. But it's more than enough damage to really make your presence felt. Yes, it takes 3-4 shots to reliably kill the Jagdpanther, or mini Tier 7s for that matter. But that's okay. We're going to shoot now on the Borsig. That Borsig's going to be really dangerous. Oh, and he bounces a shell from the Borsig. That's a nice bounce to have. That was probably off the front turret armor, or could have been a high angle ricochet off that front slope, which is surprisingly tough. Can't tell you the number of times I've bounced off of a Type 59 when I was certain, 100% certain, that I was going to go through his front. There's another shot of the Borsig, a slight eye roll at 258 damage. Oh, and takes one into the tracks from the Borsig. Very, very lucky here. Do not be taking that much damage. If that Borsig had landed those shells, he could be looking at losing. He could be down easily 1,000 hit points, if not more. I believe the Borsig gets a 750 damage gun at the top level that you could easily use. We'll see if he can finish off the Borsig right here. That'll take a very dangerous tank out. Very nice. So it looks like he's doing alright here, but the problem is the rest of his team is just falling apart. This Tiger 2 has taken an absolute ton of damage from his flank. And there's just not the support. Bounces off the T-34, that's a hard tank to penetrate. And dies to a double shot from, looked like the Carnivon and the T-34. So Tiger is down. He's basically all alone out here versus these heavy tanks and the tank destroyer that we know has been spotted. Looks like he has one tank trying to support, the 26E4, the Super Pershing. But that tank is slow. It may be a medium, but it's a medium in name only. The thing is slow like a heavy. Now this game could be going likely a lot better for him if all of these tanks that are over here were actually in here. I mean, a couple extra bodies over there would be really, really handy. But we'll see if he's able to play this. Now, unfortunately, I haven't figured out exactly how to mute chat yet. At least on the replays. I know how to do it in-game, although I usually don't. But I'd like to mute chat, otherwise I'll have to find a way to block it through the replay, which is unfortunate, but maybe something that I'll have to just get over. So our Type 59 driver here is really trying to find a weakness to exploit, and there's not really a lot of options right now. With so many tanks, it's really difficult for him to make a play. But with the Super Pershing moving up, now maybe he can get these heavy tanks to make a mistake. Looks like artillery is also looking down here, seeing what he can do. So let's see if this Type 59 can maybe put a shell into this Carnivon. Puts it and bounces off that turret. Turret has great armor, really hard to do. ARL, he put a shell into the side, and he can, average roll or above, kills it. So there's a heavy tank down. And we're looking at a Carnivon, a T-34, an IS-3, which was last spotted down. Oh, nope, the IS-3 has now moved far south. And there's an SU-100 in the back somewhere. And a T-43-3, so his counterpart premium tank has been spotted. Let's see if he can't put some damage down on that T-43. He bounces a shot, takes a shot and bounces it as well. So they're 0 for 1 for both of them. Let's see if he can put another shell in. He's wiggling back and forth. Looks like it worked out for him. Doesn't manage to put a shell through. The T-43 has been playing very, very smart. Meanwhile, the Super Pershing is taking some hits. He's still doing alright. Let's see if we can put a shell into the side of his T-34. He does. 245 damage, a slight low roll. But it looked like the Super Pershing also put one into him as well. Going to try and go for a retrack. There's the retrack. Very, very excellent play for someone with only 2,000 battles. Either this is a reroll using a different server, or this guy's a very quick learner. Either way, that was an excellent, excellent play to secure that kill on the T-34. Now he spots a Stutter Emil, and if you'll notice, he's now out of regular rounds. He's down to just a 3. So every shell is going to be really expensive. He's got 9 premium rounds left and 4 HE. He's trying to get shots on that SU-100, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So instead, he looks like he's going to poke over here and try to shoot the Stutter Emil. Takes a shot, puts it in, and bounces another shell from that SU-100. Very, very lucky bounces here. Part of what makes this tank so strong is sometimes it's just really bouncy. So they're now pushed up a little bit, but there's still a lot of tanks in town. And his friends are all down here, where all the enemy tanks are in this area right here. He's going to put a shell in his IS-3. Takes a big hit from artillery. That's really unfortunate. All that dodge, all that luck to try and survive, and Artie comes in and takes out 990 hit points. A really lucky penetration hit by artillery, because I know the AMX-13F3 only has a 1250 damage gun. If you don't penetrate, you're not even any close to that. So that was a penetration. That could have easily been a straight up kill. Very lucky that that didn't go through. Instead, he's going to shoot at this IS-3. He's down to just 9 rounds total. 5 premium, 4 HE. He knows there's lots of tanks still to kill, and he's still got to carry this team. So what to do now? What's the next goal? Well, you can try to engage the Carnarvon, you can try to engage the SU-100, you can try and shoot into town. None of those are really good options. If you could get that Super Pershing to push a bit, they might have better luck. But nothing's really happening yet. Meanwhile, looks like the T-34 and T-34-3 and 34-2, which are platooned? No. So they just happen to be acting in concert. Are making a move down to the south, trying to deal with stuff, and the 34-3 has come around the backside. So he's got to return and take out that tank, because he's only a 1 or 2 shot. Oh, it's an IS-3 and a lucky bounce from that IS-3. Very fortunate. The IS-3 has easily enough damage to outright kill that type of team. But that bounce was very, very nice. Very lucky. But in the end, a little bit of luck, a little bit of skill goes a long way. Down to 2 rounds for premium, 4 for HE. Let's see what else he can do. Gonna try to go through this building. The building is not drivable. So there's the SU-100, which is relocated, but it's getting picked apart by all number of tanks. So it'll go down here in just a bit, and then it's just a matter of finding artillery, and that'll be 15 to 8 or 9. So well done to him. He plays it smart here, understanding that 34-3 is going to spot that area. So what he needs to do is turn and see if he can't find where artillery is hiding out at. So he's going to spot up here, see what he can track down. God, that 88 is raging. He's really mad. I don't think I've ever seen anybody rage that hard in chat before. Alright, we gotta find the artillery, finish out this game, or someone's gonna cap. And there he is, hiding way back in the corner. It's amazing no one spotted him. And with the final premium round, puts it right through the engine block, sets him on fire, and that's the end of the game. So, phenomenal game. Really, really smart play by a guy who obviously has some experience. He's either a reroll from a different account, or he's got a lot of possibly team battles under his belt. That's always a possibility. When you've got premium tanks, when you can just trade it in for free XP, you'll see a lot of players will just buy up into higher tier tanks that they can use in team battles or clan wars or events or anything like that. Definitely not a new player. Lots of experience. Played it phenomenally well. Yeah, phenomenal game. Really, really well balanced. Had a good amount, good decision making, good shot choices. He went through all of his regular ammo first before he went back to his premium, which is smart. You'll see a lot of times in some players is that they'll go into their premium ammo first. They'll use premium shells first, and then they'll fall back on their regular ammo, when really you wish you had the premium stuff. Now, I don't necessarily agree with the idea that he had 4 HE rounds, but that's just personal preference. I usually run 1 to 2 for resets, but sometimes I can understand the value of having 4. Either way, like I said, really, really strong play. I thought he made really good decisions, landed his shots well, picked his shots well, for the most part. So, excellent. All right, we're going to move on to game number 3. Let me get it set up. Now, I'm going to say this ahead of time. I'm going to apologize for the chat. It's not appropriate. The Type 59 driver does a phenomenal job through the early part of the game. It's an absolute amazing game. Excuse me. But the problem is that in the end, he rages so hard. So I wanted to show the game because it showcases just how troll the Type 59 is and how much damage you can do even by yourself. But my apologies ahead of time for the chat. So, sorry. Alright, let's hop over into this game, which is phenomenal, if unfortunate. Alright. So, I tried, originally, I'm just going to do this real quick. I tried to go into settings and disable battle chat and hit OK. But I don't think it worked, but we'll try it anyways. Alright, here we go. If this works, then it'll be awesome. And again, if you guys want to see the replay, so if the battle chat ends up not showing up, which would be nice, that's a call as a help. Let's see if anybody can type anything. Alright, either way, our Type 59 driver is going to move into the 9-0 line, which is usually an area that requires a lot of gun depression. But this driver knows this map well enough that he can actually use... He can use the dips and divots very, very well. And as we can see, his first mention is already a very what would be the phrase other than dickishness. Really unfortunate. Good players don't need to be this way. You don't got to be like this. You got a problem? Just don't say anything. It's just a game, guys. Alright, so he's going to climb up here very slowly and see what he can spot. There is an enemy Type 59, a Tiger 1, a T-29, all sorts of stuff. He's going to dodge a bunch of shells. Looks like there's a lot of tanks over here. So he's going to need some support if he can get it. Oh, misses the Type 59. You'll notice this particular Type 59 driver doesn't have any HE rounds. No, that's, like I said, it's personal choice on whether you want to go one way or another. But personally, I would hold 1 or 2 just for that cap reset. So he's shooting on this Tiger here, bounces one off the Tiger. There's a Type 59. He's going to fall back here into this hole a little bit, and this is going to provide him an absolute ton of cover, so that it's basically his turret plus a little part of his tracks. So So we'll see. He's going to finish off this Tiger 1, which is definitely the right play. You don't want to leave things live. Oh, and 1 hit point left. That's heartbreak. That's not something you want to ever spend a shell on if you can afford it. But sometimes you gotta. He's taken 2 hits now from that Type 59 that have gone right through his side armor, so he's going to angle up here and hopefully present more of his front. Type 59's punching through. It's not looking good. And there's a track. And another track. And a bounce. And he sets the enemy Type 59 on fire, and no fire extinguisher means that's going to burn for a lot of hit points. And he kills it almost outright. Just think if that other Type 59 driver had a fire extinguisher, there's a good chance that this battle would already be over. So let that be a lesson to you guys. Carry a fire extinguisher in your tank. Now I'll admit, this Type 59 is getting incredibly lucky. The 203mm penetration that Tiger can potentially have is more than enough to go through that tank. So either that tank doesn't have the top gun, which I can't really tell at this angle. Actually looks like he might. Looks like he only has the short 88. I can't tell. I can't not tell from that angle. But 2 Tigers and a Type 59. He's done all the kills on his team and mostly all the damage. He's at 4,000 damage already. So here's the rage. But that was an extremely lucky engagement. And now at 258 health, he's got a lot of work to do. Let's see if he can't make something happen here. He's going to shoot at the side of this prototype, put another shell in. He's really able to make these shots count over this hillside without taking much in return. He's really making the slope up here really work for him. It's really good to see. So keep shooting the prototype. The prototype has paper-thin side armor. So you're really able to punish a prototype that's angled that far. He really needs to be angled almost directly on that, almost directly on, straight on to the Type 59. You just do not have the penetration otherwise. So this Type 59 is shooting through all of his ammunition. He's up to 5,432 hit points of damage. Make that 5,700. He's only got 1 regular shell left, and that leaves only 7 shells left in his tank. This is a tank that really can't do sustained fire like this. It just does not have the ammo capacity. Now that T-29 looks like he's got the, from the looks of it, I would say that he's got the stock M1A1 gun that you get if you get to the T-29 from the Jumbo. That's why it's always a bad idea to get the T-29 from the Jumbo, because the grind is horrid because you don't even have that 90mm cannon. But when in the rear of that T-32, finish him off, putting him at 6 kills. Gonna take a shot of his T-34, put a shell in. It's very nice. Let's see if he's gonna get the kill over the E-75. And he is. Well done. He's got 7 kills, 6,575 damage, and 1 shot remaining. Let's see what he's going to do with this last shell before we finish off. So while he has basically dominated this entire flank, and is the reason why all these tanks are alive, the other flank is just gone. Completely fell apart. And now they're going to cap. So he's got to move up and make sure this last shell counts. So while the rest of his team are not playing smart, we have an E-75 who I'm not quite sure what he's doing. I think maybe the E-75 forgot that this was an assault and they were on defense. He's got to pick his shot carefully. He's going to shoot the IS. Nope, the IS dies. What's going to poke out here and see? People are trying to do that. He's going to try and side scrape a little bit. See if he can't draw a shot. He really wants to put a shell into this IS-6. Takes a hit. Gonna put one right in the side. There's a kill for 173 damage. He's out of ammo. And lo and behold, what finishes him off? Artillery. Alright, that's the end of that. I don't want to show the rest of that because our Type 59 driver really goes off the handle on basically his whole team and the artillery and everything else. But the important part here, other than the attitude of the driver, is that that Type 59, with a combination of luck and skill in placing shots and choosing targets, was able to get 8 kills. 8 kills and almost 7,000 damage, not including the amount of spotting damage he's got. Really showcases how awesome that tank can be. And really, any tank can do that. But the Type 59, for whatever reason, has a combination of armor, speed, reload, and damage that allows it to, if left unchecked, absolutely be a dominant force on the battlefield. Alright, so this was a shorter show. There's not much to talk about when it comes to the Type 59, primarily because there's only so much, there's only so many out there. And it's such a rare tank that it's just, you just have to learn to deal with it. Here's the thing to remember. Type 59 is incredibly bouncy for armor, which means you need to make sure you pick your shots well. You can't just fling shells willy-nilly at it. Unless you have like 250 or 300 penetration, then it doesn't matter. But then again, if you have that much penetration, there's not a lot of stuff that matters. 2, the Type 59 is incredibly mobile. We saw that in all 3 games, really, but definitely in the last 2. Where, because it has decent power to weight ratio and good engine power, it can move forward and backward in a fairly quick amount of time, which allows it to play peekaboo a little bit with other tanks, and really can, what am I trying to say? It can really dominate a dogfight engagement when you're really close, a brawl, if you will. We saw the bouncy armor, which I talked about at first point. Point number 3 is the gun. Now, the gun may not look fantastic. I think it's either a 175 or 185 penetration with a 250 alpha damage, which may not seem like a lot, but coupled with that reload speed, which is absolutely phenomenal, you can really lay down an absolute godly amount of fire. And what that means is that, as we saw in our last 2 games, if you get into a position where you need to unload, especially that last game, where you can just shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot, and there's not a lot of places to go, so you have to just rely on your armor being absolutely troll and shooting at the enemy, you can do that, and you can outshoot a lot of other tanks, right? We saw him outshoot 2 Tigers and a Type 59, who probably should have killed him 3 times over. But because of poor selection of shots, because of basically sheer dumb luck, and a combination of other factors, he was able to kill all of those. The fire on that Type 59 was incredibly fortuitous, but in all reality, that the enemy Type 59 should have never let that happen in the first place. The position that he was in meant that our Type 59 driver was able to put shell after shell after shell through that upper glacis front plate. Because of the angle, it was basically a flat shot, and I'm fairly certain it's less than 100 millimeters. I think it's somewhere between 70 and 80. That would be my guess. I unfortunately didn't look it up before the show, even though I should have. Either way, the point is that if that other Type 59 driver had been smarter, he had lots of options to do. He didn't have to go forward. He could have gone backwards. He could have angled his tank. He could have done any number of things which would have given him better shots against the Type 59. Heck, if he'd have even had a fire extinguisher, there's a good chance that he could have killed the Type 59 before he was killed by it. So, before I sign off, I want to cover a couple of really important points that I'm sure I'll be getting back to in the future. And this is what I tell any of the guys that come into the clan, into my personal clan, that are new. Especially when they're starting, I tend to, because I have friends who have friends who have friends, kind of thing, right? So we invite them all in. But the important part is that when they come in, we basically give them a spiel, which is that 1, don't worry about wins or anything like that until you're up in a tier 5, because frankly, tier 4 and less is shit. 2, don't worry about money until you're up to tier 5, because everything else is pretty cheap. But the most important one is that once you hit tier 5, you absolutely 100% must carry a repair kit, a first aid kit, a fire extinguisher. Until you're a good enough player that you can kind of mix and match depending on how your tank is. Because I can't count the number of times I've seen tier 7, 8, 9, or 10 tanks that don't carry fire extinguishers, and they get shot, caught on fire, and they burn for 1,000 damage. That's more damage. I mean, I could shoot them with 100 damage shot in anything, right? Let's say I'm driving in a Walker Bulldog, right, and I do 150 damage to a mouse, let's just say, right, or a Moz, I guess, depending on pronunciation. Right, if I can manage to damage the engine enough in a Moz, which I'm pretty sure has more than 150 hit points on the engine, but let's not worry about that for the moment. The point is that if you manage to do enough damage to the engine to where you get that to catch on fire, then the fire that does is a percentage of total health, not a percentage of the damage dealt to it. Right? So, and it's a tick every second or every half a second, I'm not sure which. But the point is that it happens often enough and is slowly decreasing that if you have a shit ton of health, every tick is going to be, 60, 70, 80 damage, which is a ton of damage. Right? That means that over 2 ticks, if you shot it with a 100 damage round, you've already done more damage with the fire than you did with your initial shot. Now, there's other things that play in it as well, but the important part is that you can reduce a lot of that with either an automatic fire extinguisher or regular fire extinguisher. And just learning exactly where that, for me, it's key number 6. Key number 6 is. So, you're in tier 5 or above, carry a fire extinguisher. And if you're in a tier 8, there's absolutely no excuse, even in a premium, because you should know better. All right. So, this is it for this week. This was 3 shows, which I'm really glad I got them all in, right? We had the Ferdinand on Tuesday, we had the 12T yesterday, and then today we have the Type 59. So I'm off for the weekend, and then we're going to resume on Tuesday of next week. And I don't remember exactly. Oh, that's right. I remember Tuesdays, and I haven't determined Wednesdays or Thursdays yet because I have to go through my list. But Tuesdays is the T14, which is the American Tier 5 Premium Heavy Tank. So it should be good. That's a very, very troll tank. It's if any of you, I'm sure that you've all played against it, but the tank is actually surprisingly good. Most people rag on it for being slow and low penetration and easily to penetrate and everything else like that. But I find that if you play it with your standard heavy tank mentality, especially on the NA servers, and I can't speak for EU or Russian or SEA for that matter, but on the NA servers at least, a lot of people just don't understand how to deal with the tank. And because the armor is fairly even, you can actually do a very, very simple diamond format. And as long as you protect your machine gun port on the front, which isn't too hard to do, you bounce a lot of shells and your damage per minute is sufficiently high to do an absolute ton of damage. All right, I'm off for the weekend. It's going to be great. Again, I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you have any comments, concerns, or questions, please leave them below. I will also link the replays so you guys can watch them yourself. Yeah, should be good. All right, guys, I will talk to you later. Until then, happy tanking. Bye.